the first version, and this is the second version. And you can see what is the main difference. The main difference is the second version is a shorter runway. Okay, shorter entrance, the foyer. But of course, what are you giving up on? You're giving up on the space that you can put in your shoe lah. Because right now this is just stuck in. You don't have additional space for cabinet. So a lot of buyers sometimes they are concerned. Oh, mine is a open longish kitchen. My corridor is very long. Is my entrance is very long. It's no good. So it really depends on the layout. Like just now,
So the big question is this: how busy professionals and homeowners like us make six-figure profits from the property we own safely by doing it with research, data, and numbers. How do we buy in a way without complications and half guessing, regardless of the market conditions, and still remain profitable? That is the question. Here, I will share with you exactly what we do and how we do it. My name is Edmund, and welcome to Singapore Real Estate Insider.
all right, so let us study the two-bedroom. Okay, two-bedroom, wow, this one also a lot of different layout. So just take note, there are different versions lah. So, okay, two-bedroom, I think the size-wise is great, 667. Okay, 667 size square feet. Not much different configuration, but the one that Grand Dunman does is they now created a two-bed, one-bath. Okay, remember this is a two-bed, one-bath configuration, which the other two projects don't have. And I believe why they do this is they want to keep the sizes smaller so the quantum can be acceptable in today's market. All right, so there's always a strategy behind the developers. And that's why for Tembusu Grand and so as the Continuum, they only do two-bed, two-bath. You know, perhaps they want to go a little bit more prime, a little bit more atas lah. But for Grand Dunman, I don't know. When I see the entire layout, the number of units, I do feel that it's very mass. Okay, it's a very mass market kind of development, but you are in D15. So I don't know, maybe this is a new age of generation able to accept such concept. Let's see how it fares, what's the prices lah. Okay, so for two-bed, one-bath, so this is the typical dumbbell concept, and they only are able to do this with a two-bed, one-bath concept. Later on, we will study a little bit more. So you have your, of course, your dining, you can either put it here or you can always put it on the side lah. So this one, I think a small issue, or some of them, they will even put it all the way to the balcony for your dining. So this is quite common right now. And once you enter, the entire space is still comfortable for a two-bed, one-bath. So the thing is, if let's say today, based on your investment amount, there's limitations. So a lot of people like to just go for a two-bed, one-bath. But me personally, okay, I would say that if you can stretch yourself a little bit, or try to go for a two-bed, two-bath. Always go for the two-bed, two-bath. I think the acceptance in future, minimum will be at least a two-bed, two-bath already. Or our future two-bed, one-bath will become like our one-bed, one-bed, one-study in future. Or because the size, GFA, everything has changed. So future developments, you need to think through what are the future buyers thinking about in terms of their space. All right, so this is the two-bed, one-bath configuration. Okay, so they have another design, same size. Okay, another design. So not much difference you can see. Or size-wise is also the same. It's just that the foyer area, now you have a wider foyer. But your dining, I don't know. They draw it this way. I also scared. You can see it's just right beside, and then you can put your dining here lah, or you put your dining here lah. Okay, then makes more sense. Or sometimes the drawing on the layout, please do also use some creativity to start thinking. Okay, whether does this work or not. So this one is the two-bed, one-bath configuration. Okay, let's see. Okay, the next one let's see is the dual key one. Okay, so dual key, two-bedroom dual key. So it's almost like you are having a two-bed, two-bath. But the dual key concept, why people like to buy this, you know, there's one reason is maybe they max out their ability to purchase already. So today, if I can get 2 units for under the same name, I don't need to pay the EBSD. All right, so that's one configuration. Another one is that, hey, I just use it for rental. I can rent 2 units out separately, or I can configure this as one unit to rent it out as a 2-bed 2-bath also at the same time. So 2-bed dual key, if for those who have not been in the market, it's seldom seen nowadays. Most of the developments don't have, but for Cindior, it's kind of their signature to always have dual keys in their development. So now you can see that for their first version, dual key, definitely dual key is always to maximize your rental, which is why now imagine one unit already can have one occupant, then now with dual key is ×2. So that means the overall maximum capacity of home ownership also kind of increase. The number of people increases in Grand Dunman. So you must take note of that. So for this one, quite typical. You have one side which is the full bedroom plus the master bath. So this is considered number one. And then you have like a studio in number two where you have your own pantry area and your open concept bedroom. So this is more for rental for dual key. Okay, really for rental. And they also have another layout. So this is the first layout for dual key. The second layout is slightly different. Your space usage. Okay, you have a longer foyer and you have a longer corridor here. So it really depends on purpose and pricing, especially. Because they did not do a lot of layouts. I mean, number of units. They only have one stack each for each dual key. So if you really want to chong the dual key type, remember there are also limited units. Also, when there's limited units, what will happen to price? And moreover, those who buy dual key, we know that it's purely for investment. So how will the prices like? That one we will have to see what's the launch later on. Okay, so we're going to do also a comparison because this one is considered like a 2-bed 2-bath or 2-bed 2-bath, because for Grand Dunman they don't have a 2-bed 2-bath. They go straight to 2-bed plus study. So the only way to compare the 2-bed 1-bath as well as 2-bed dual key is to take Continuum as well as Tembusu's 2-bed 2-bath to see the space. Okay, so let us take a look. So this is Tembusu Grand. So only Tembusu Grand as well as the Continuum, we will have 2-bed 2-bath configuration. So this is important. And if you see how Tembusu does, I like this. The reason why, because they have tuck-in kitchen. Okay, their kitchen is kind of a C-shaped tuck-in. So it's not along the main corridor kind of situation, which gives me access for space for my entrance. So this is important. And because I can tuck in this kitchen, I now have a proper provision for my dining space. So this is definitely a plus point if you're considering 2-bed plus 2-bath. Okay, this is important to look at for Tembusu Grand. So this is a plus for me. Of course, for the Continuum, let's take a look. The Continuum layout for the 2-bed 2-bath, and I'm using always almost the same size. This is a 667 square feet. So generally, we all know for the Continuum, all the layouts are being given a storeroom. Okay, are given a storeroom. Or they have an additional provision which allows you to keep your things instead of building additional cabinets and waste of space. So this one, the kitchen is slightly different from what you saw in Tembusu Grand, even for Grand Dunman, is they split the kitchen. Okay, A and B. They split the kitchen both sides, but yet I still have a comfortable walkway into my unit, which gives it a very comfortable space usage. I think this is very important because most of the time when the kitchen is too long, we tend not to go for it. Okay, if the kitchen is too long and then you can't build anything on it. But this one, because they kind of split the kitchen, which is a good touch. And when you enter, you still have enough walkway throughout the entire living and dining. So do take note, Grand Dunman don't have two sides of kitchen, right? They are always one side. Also, it's one long kitchen throughout all the different layouts for the 2 bedrooms. Grand Dunman don't have. Tembusu Grand, at least you're getting a C shape. And for Continuum, you're getting two sides. So I think the kitchen space for 2 bedroom has to be kind of decent now. If not, the configuration will be not useful. So for the 2-bed plus study, the thing is for Grand Dunman, they have 4 different layouts. 4 different layouts just for 2-bed plus study. So you compare under you hint or blur. So let us take a look for, I think the typical, this is a very classic 2-bed plus study. Okay, so you can see how they did it in the 1 bedroom, that because the space is so tight. The 1 plus study, Okay, so this time around they really put their dining opposite a study area lah, which is good lah, not beside the toilet. But the another thing is that wow, you're just by the stove, just by the stove. Of course, two bed usually is not an open stove, right? But still, if I don't want to put my dining there, where can I put? I cannot find any other space. The only area that I can go is go to balcony, lor. Okay, I cannot do part. I don't know, because this is been highlighted by one of our community who shared in the comment that oh, the layout of the dining is beside the stove. Yeah, which is quite true, right? So if today if you don't want to put your dining by the stove, where can you put? You cannot put here, right? Here will be too tight. Then I cannot put in the center. It'll be very weird. Then I have to only put in the balcony, lor. This seems to be like the only space that you can put the dining if you really don't want the dining. So this configuration, I don't know, may not be the best in my opinion. Okay, may not be the best. But because they have 4 different types, so depending on your queue number, how much the prices, you can get to choose the other 3 different layouts. So this is the other layout, 775 square foot, 2 bed plus study. So this configuration is definitely I prefer a little bit better because the dining now is away from the kitchen. Oh, it's away from the kitchen. It's tucked in by itself. So you have one space just for dining, which makes it a little bit more comfortable. And if you don't want this, you can always switch your dining here. Okay, you can put your dining here. So this is definitely a much more ideal layout. Of course, then you are by the toilet lah, opposite the toilet. Also, one thing you may want to do it, but always look at the other perspective also to make adjustments. So nothing much to shout for, because my favorite is the third. So when I say it's my best, of course, I might explain to you why, and which means if I can see it, other people also can see it, which means everybody also want to chong for this one. But I always have this rule whenever I buy property. If it's not meant to be that I don't get to buy it, I will not buy it. I don't care whether it's a FOMO, the hype, or I will lose out. I will not go for it. Okay, if the layout is something that is out of norm, or other people already buy my favorite layout, but I sacrifice lah. Okay lah, it's okay lah. I make do with the second or third kind of layout. I really strongly suggest homeowners like you yourself don't do it, because you have to get stuck with the property for a long time, and in the event you want to sell this property and the demand is not there, then the only thing that you can adjust is what? Your selling price, which is you're going to sacrifice some of your profits also later on. Okay, so the third 2 plus study is my favorite. Again, and I share with you why my favorite. First of all, you have a very wide foyer, which gives you a very comfortable entrance, which is great. I still have some provision here for my shoe if I want to, or shoe rack. And because the study is tucked in the front, okay, which is why even if I have a sliding door, I can make it into a storage or a study area. And my dining is also, I have one space for dining itself. The only thing is because this dining is by the toilet, but I have to make do with something lah. Or if the dining I don't want, I just shift it to the balcony as per is. But this is the typical, I think one of the better layouts out of the rest. There's always the best out of the rest. Okay. The another one I can kind of accept, okay, is the 4th type. So the 3rd type and 4th type is something that I can make do with. Of course, we want the best of everything lah, but it's impossible lah. So for the 4th type of 2 bed plus study, I can accept this. Everything comfortable. Or I got my space for dining. I got my own space. I got a wider area. So I'm kind of by itself. But the only thing that I hiam lah, okay, I kind of, if it can be better, lor. You know, we are all buying properties like that, is my entrance. I find it's a bit narrow. The kitchen width, okay, is a little bit narrow. And not here, sorry. The kitchen width is here. I find it's a little bit narrow. So it don't feel really good. But the thing is, dining is not facing the toilet. So if which one is more important to you, then you choose accordingly to the layout. But I would say type 1 will sell the best, will sell better. Okay. I would say this one will still sell very well. And the reason is because they have the most stacks. There's most unit for this layout. And in the eyes of the developer, that means they will favor this layout to be the favorite among every single person. Okay, that's why they have 4 stacks, while the rest only have 1 stack. So when how developer place the number of units, you will know which one they know they want to sell more, and they will deem that the buyers will choose layout 1. But I don't know. There are 4 layouts for you to choose depending on which one you prefer, what's your objective, and how do you see them as an advantage. But of course, we also want to do a comparison. Now, within Grand Dunman, you do comparison is good, but you also must compare to the other 2 properties. You must also for the 2-bed plus study. So let us take a look. So this is Tembusu Grand. Tembusu Grand easier lah, or even for the Continuum, they don't have so many different types until you confuse yourself. Okay, Tembusu Grand 1 2 plus study means 1 2 plus study, nothing else. Okay, so you can see, so now if you start comparing it to Grand Dunman, right, you see the kitchen, wow, not open one. It's not a island kitchen for 2-bed plus study. Tembusu Grand a little bit more atas. Now you have a C-shaped kitchen. Wow, tuck in very nicely away from your entire corridor. You are able to what? Do your shoe cabinet here. And you still have a very comfortable walkway. You see? Your walkway area is still very comfortable. So this is something that typically your entrance to a unit is always very important. Or your starting, of course, your study, you can do it in the pantry storage. But of course, the 2-bed plus study configuration, main difference is Grand Dunman are all dumbbell units. But for Tembusu Grand, you are still getting the typical corridor type of layout. But generally, space-wise, with the kitchen tucked in, with a C shape, now you can see the dining, you have 1 area by itself. If not, you can always choose it to put in the balcony, which is something very, very common nowadays. Very common. So let's take a look at the Continuum. Continuum have basically 2 different layouts, but they are almost the same. It's just at the size. So I'm going to show you the dumbbell unit, which is the Continuum. So Continuum is the same as Grand Dunman, 2-bed plus study, but it's a dumbbell concept. So although, right, the Continuum is a long shape, longish kitchen. But what they did was, if you can see, they did an edge here. Although it's a longish kitchen, but they kind of cut out a space like this so that you can put your dining, which is, I think, is a good touch, because if not, your dining would just be beside your kitchen, longish kitchen, right? And again, because of the configuration for every unit in Continuum, they are able to build a storeroom for you. So they tuck the storeroom on the other side of stuff, where you basically get A and B. So it's 2 sides of a kitchen, which is, it allows you to have a wider walkway. I think this is a very important element, especially if you're buying a 2-bed plus study, because this side where the store is, that's where your fridge is. So you have more than enough space for 2 person, 3 person to do preparation on each side. So this is definitely something worth to consider if you're doing a 2-bed plus study. And the study area is tucked in the center. Also, you kind of able to even combine this and this into like a mega walk-in wardrobe concept if you want to. So there are ways to play around with this. And because of the Continuum is a en bloc, you can take away their what do you call it, walls if you want to. So there are different flexibility to do comparison with. And the favorite, I mean, my favorite, of course, the one that is shown in the show flat. They have basically everything is very similar to the one that I showed you before. But the thing is, this is a show flat unit, which if you go and see, you can see now they have an L-shaped kitchen. The L-shaped kitchen is also a provision for this space where you can put in the dining. So you have kind of a tucked-in area where you can put in your dining. And because of they put in their storeroom here, which is on the other side of things, because with the L-shaped kitchen, right? Wow, you can see the distance, your entrance very wide. So this is also, I think, a very, very good touch between this layout, dumbbell with Grand Dunman. So these are all small little things you must start comparing for layouts. And I'm only talking about layout. And you can hack certain things in the Continuum, change out the things, make it a little bit bigger or smaller study or bigger study. It's really entirely up to you how you want to do it. So if I start seeing Tembusu Grand 990 square foot, which is a 3-bedroom. Okay, you can see this is the biggest of all the 3-bedroom in Tembusu Grand. All right. So size is bigger, but also don't forget walkway is also longer. So you have an entire long corridor which you can do cabinets, no issue. Okay, you can do it all the way here. So